Well, I haven't spoken to Boris since the referendum. As you know, I advise him on economic, financial issues. Obviously, it's disappointing that he's not continued with his campaign. But to be quite honest, policies matter more than personalities. I think Andrea Leadsom is a very good candidate. She brings forward the Brexit case. I was a strong supporter.
Rather than Michael Gove?
In my view, definitely, yes. And I supported the Brexit case. Brexit, in my view, is not only positive for London, but positive for the UK. I think the most important thing here now is that the country has voted for Brexit. Obviously, one needs to be mindful of the fact that 48% of people voted to remain.
Yeah.
But I think we need to actually move forward, leave the European Union. I personally think the best way to help us is to actually invoke Article 50 to make it quite clear that we are not going to try and reverse this decision.
When? Soon, immediately?
Well, I think the challenge is that in the near term, we need to have political stability and clarity about policy. Obviously, we can't have political stability until either the new Prime Minister or the Leader of the Opposition are fully in place. I would like personally to see that all speeded up, but that's not possible, it seems. Life and the economic outlook depends on the interaction between the economic fundamentals, policy and confidence. The fundamentals in the UK showed the economy already losing momentum before this referendum. Also, the G7 countries in Japan 6 weeks ago highlighting the need for the global economy to have another policy boost. The policy side, clearly, we need the right policies, and confidence is a difficult one. What's interesting, I think, is that on Friday, the Chancellor, correctly, in my view, sort of changed his fiscal stance. We need to have a lot more infrastructure spending. The UK government can borrow next to nothing, and we should be investing longer term for the infrastructure, not just for London.
And James, do you agree that actually the signals, I mean, we might get a little bit of short-term turbulence, but actually what was the fuss about? We will restore confidence eventually with the right leader in place and so on, with political stability.
Well, I think that is now the key objective, that we do move forward, and that we've seen, I think,
it was always going to be the objective, well, really. Leave was never going to be that much of a problem.
No, I think that, you know, from my point of view, I wasn't arguing that the sky would fall in, nor was Theresa May, who I'm supporting, saying that either. It is now giving that sense of confidence and stability, getting the right policies. From my perspective, I think we shouldn't just rush to invoke Article 50. I think it's important that we have a clear approach set out in terms of our negotiating mandate, so that we're able to go in clearly and get the best possible deal. That's why I think it's right not to trigger that, say, before the end of this year. But it is now about how we get that best possible deal for the city, for London, on passporting of financial services, on the best possible access for goods and services to the single market.
What you were saying this week in Sadiq Khan asking for more powers and more devolution to London, given that you think, you know, his support for the EU was, you know, a centralising body, etc.
Yeah, I was on the panel just after the Mayor spoke, and I thought he gave a very good speech, but I thought there was a big contradiction in terms. He was talking about the need to be very much in the EU. And we have to remember, over the last decade, the European Union has become centralising, controlling, regulating. But at the same time, the Mayor said devolve more powers to London.
But
which
isn't
was
that
something
the point, though? Because of the EU decision, it now has made that case even more for the devolution.
Yeah, basically, we have decided to leave the European Union. I think that's in the best long-term interest of London and the whole country, despite the near-term uncertainty. But what the Mayor said this week was something that Boris Johnson, when he was Mayor, was pushing for the last couple of years. And this is sensible, to have devolving more powers, not just to London, but across the whole country. Okay. Better for accountability, transparency, and also the Prime Minister and Chancellor allow more infrastructure spending.
Brilliant.
That's a plus.